During the 35 years this lumber company operated at Omo Ranch, the mill burned down, was rebuilt twice, and the town added a cookhouse, a garage, Indian digging school, bunkhouses, and family houses. At its peak, the mill camp town supported over 1,000 people.
The first thing that I really loved coming up here was the smell of the smoke and the dust and the cinders, because we generate our own power. You're watching all of these grown men working. You go in the sawmill and you could just listen to all of the noises. You had this.
Lots of mornings I was up at 3 o'clock and get down there. You help fire if somebody was short, you help fire the boiler. No matter what had to be done, you went and done it.
During the day, the kids always got home on time. They had no excuse for being late because the whistle always blew.
The whistle blew the whole time the mill burned. Somebody got on the boiler there and they pulled the whistle down and tied it.
I happened to look down toward the mill and I saw a little puff of smoke. This fire blew up and I knew there was no way they was gonna save it.
Cecil couldn't afford to rebuild the mill without help, so he told the guys he would supply groceries from the store if they'd agree to help him.
The people who worked here realized that my parents didn't have much, and they worked very long hours. And I think there was a tremendous amount of mutual respect and admiration for these two men and their families. This area in 1939 is what you would call extremely primitive. When Glenn and Helen got here, they had to clean up after the cows to get into the shack they had that was going to be their home.
It was so far out in the country. I didn't think I would ever see my folks again. It seemed like the end of the world to me. We would have left and gone back home if we'd had money enough to do so.
The truth is, the way California foresters do it today, what they harvest, they replant sevenfold. In fact, the U.S. Department of Agriculture reports that a whopping 32 million trees are planted here every year. And since 1975, this lumber company alone has planted over 3 million new trees on its land, increasing to 12 the ratio of trees planted to trees harvested.
My father and Glenn Oviatt thought nature would take care of itself. The difference is that I'm willing to put the resources back into the land. We're making probably one of the longest term investments any company or individuals can make. To receive any type of revenue from these lands will be 30 to 50 years. And we plant a tree today, we know it's going to be a long-term investment that's good for all of us, because it's the right thing to do.
That respect is reflected in opportunities for growth. And it often means that working for a company is a long-term family affair.
They didn't look at you like you's black, he's white, he's Mexican, he's Chinese. They look at you as a man. And my whole time up there, it was more like, to me, like a family. I remember Glenn was on the deck. They called me. Oh, he had a lot of fancy names he'd call you times, you know. He says, do you want to edge? I said, I don't know. Do you or don't you? I said, well, hell, I'll try if you want me to. He said, all right, come out tonight and go to edging. I'd worked all day. My arms cramped so I couldn't hardly get them up to eat that night. And then a couple of days, I got used to it. It wasn't no problem, you know.
And back in them days, the sawmills were built where the trees were, because the trucks weren't as good as they are today. If you were married, you could rent a house for $20 a month. If you were single, you stayed in a bunkhouse and they had little rooms for everybody and showers. And then they had a cookhouse. The guys would go there and eat breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
They was feeding about 30, 40 men up there.
I can remember platters full of pork chops and steaks and hot dogs.
On a crew of men, if you didn't feed them, why, you wasn't going to keep them.
And everybody knew everybody there. This sort of a big family.
I just wish there's another mill like that so I'd go back and live there. Yeah.
You had a community that really mixed well together, and it was really a very special time.
While today's timber community members don't live together as they did back then, the bonds and respect still prevail.
The people helped each other. And if there was any emergency, why, everyone pitched in to help.
I started working for this company when I was in '70, and I've been here ever since. It has been a family-type atmosphere. We have fathers and sons, brothers. The youngest individual working out here has already been here for 8 years.
The lives led at Omo Ranch, the work done back then and being done in the woods today, all of this is directly linked to our lives, our communities, and in ways few of us ever stop to think about.
From the house that you live in, to all the paper products, to all the medicines that you use, this is a product that we all use. It benefits us, and it benefits all the things that we enjoy. The wood comes in a round form and comes out in rectangular pieces. The shavings go to people who use them for horse bedding. The chips are recaptured, sent partly to Japan to make paper. The other part goes 100 miles north of us to make pressboard. The sawdust goes to a cogeneration plant to make electricity that we all use. And the bark goes to a remanufacturing plant that takes out the larger pieces to make decorative bark, all the way down to mulch that we use for the plants that we dearly love.
Did you know that each year an average Californian uses what equals a 100-foot tree in forest products? But however the resources get there, consumers at the end of that network can't carry on their business without them.